Alyssa Thomas set the tone during Clark's rookie season when she plowed straight through her as Clark came off a screen. There was no real attempt to play the ball and no effort to slow down, just a hard full-body check that sent Clark stumbling. The officials watched the entire sequence and chose not to blow the whistle. No foul. No review. Thomas simply kept moving as if nothing had happened because, according to the officials, nothing had.
Another look here at the heavy contact. A little bit of a shoulder there. Not a little bit, a lot of a shoulder there for Alyssa Thomas.
Yeah, they're not going to look at this. They might.
It's gotten the fans here fired up.
That moment mattered more than people realized because it showed Thomas exactly how much she could get away with. When a player makes heavy contact and nothing gets called, there is little reason to stop. The physical play can continue and sometimes become even more aggressive because the league has already shown that there may be no immediate consequence. Thomas wasn't only involved in physical moments with Clark. She also had a major collision with Nafisa Collier during the playoffs, while another confrontation involving Angel Reese became a heated and controversial incident. This isn't simply a player who occasionally plays tough and crosses the line. The criticism is that she repeatedly plays with an extreme level of physicality while the whistles often fail to come.
The tip was clean by Thomas.
Look at that.
And they banged knees after Nafisa Collier.
She has 21 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, and Fee is being helped back to the locker room. Let's go over to Angel Gray.
Yeah, I'm watching her walk through the tunnel right now. She is clear.
Sana Borna, who previously played for the Fever and seemed to have strong feelings about the situation, described Phoenix's approach as revenge. The Mercury had lost to the Fever 2 nights earlier, and Borna made it clear that the next meeting felt like payback. That earlier game is important because it set the tone for the rematch. There were 6 technical fouls and 1 ejection. Maisha Hines-Allen was thrown out after shoving Thomas following a heated sequence involving Clark and Borna.
Hopper able to win the jump. Thomas comes up with it, but is going to get whistled for an offensive foul. And she's looking at Nate Tibbetts. He doesn't even look to the back of the bench. He immediately signaled to take a look at.
Oh,
yeah, that's
saw
not going to
the
get
elbow extend from behind, and
that's not going to get overturned, I don't think.
So the Fever already understood that Phoenix would likely return with a more aggressive approach, while Phoenix knew the Fever were not simply going to absorb the pressure. The officials knew the history between the teams as well, which made their performance in the rematch even more difficult to understand. Physical contact continued to build, and Clark entered the game in a situation that had been developing for a long time. Clark responded in the opening quarter as if she had a personal score to settle with the entire Phoenix Mercury roster. 13 of her 19 total points came in that first quarter alone. She shot 5 of 9 from the field, hit 3 of 4 from beyond the arc, and went a perfect 6 for 6 at the free throw line. She finished with 19 points and 8 assists in less than 20 minutes of actual playing time. That is an incredible stat line for anyone, especially for a player who spent several possessions dealing with intense physical pressure from an opponent who clearly came into the game ready to challenge her.
To the ground, and ooh, that's a hand to the neck, and
Then came the incident that raised even more questions. Clark ended up on the floor, and Thomas came down over the situation, appearing to press a closed fist directly into Clark's neck area as Clark tried to get back up. It wasn't a simple brush or an awkward hand placement during a scramble. Clark was still on the ground, and the contact looked far more serious than ordinary basketball physicality. The criticism was that this went beyond a normal competitive play and appeared completely unnecessary. The officials were standing close enough to have a clear view, yet no whistle was blown. White later said she spoke with the officials at halftime, and they told her they had not seen the contact while Clark was still on the floor. Similar actions involving players stepping over or making unnecessary contact have resulted in technical fouls in other games, but Clark received nothing. No foul, no review, and apparently no serious discussion among the officials about what had happened. Thomas walked away without any immediate consequence once again.
Hey fam, get AT out of the league, bro. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it, fam. AT is a dirty player. All the way through and through, dog. She is a dirty player. She can't beat you, so she beat you, literally. This is nonsense, man. This is nonsense. Yo, Caitlin Clark was busting they butt out there. She literally had 19 points, 8 assists. She was ready to sleepwalk into a double-double, 20 plus points, 10 assists. She was sleepwalking into it. And here come AT with this nonsense, man.
Separate from the incidents involving Thomas, Aaliyah Boston was already in the middle of one of her strongest performances of the season. She finished with 23 points and 9 rebounds, continuing to attack the paint with the same quiet and relentless energy she brings every night without needing constant attention. Kelsey Mitchell completely took control on offense, scoring 30 points and adding 6 assists in 38 minutes. On almost any other night, that performance would have been the biggest story of the game. Myisha Hines-Allen added 13 points and made sure Phoenix wasn't simply going to overpower Indiana in the paint without facing resistance. The Fever were playing without their top player for part of the contest and were still right there in a tight game late in the fourth quarter, showing just how hard this group continued to compete.
Hines-Allen. Muscle on muscle, and Hines-Allen wins the battle. And a foul.
be physical. And in the post-up game is one place right here. 2 hard dribbles. Gets the leverage. Playing undersized. And
number one, you gotta call it. It's absolutely egregious and utterly disrespectful. And then number two, you're coming in here aware of what happened 2 nights ago, and that shit still happens? Absolutely unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable.
What made White's comments feel different from her previous post-game frustrations was how specific and direct they became. The response appeared on Instagram after the game. Just 3 simple words, "This is enough." No lengthy explanation and no detailed statement, just that message. Clark is not generally known for publicly complaining, so a post like that carries more weight in the context of a difficult game. She had dealt with several heavy physical moments, including contact that left her shaken and other plays that created concern, yet she still finished with 19 points and 8 assists before leaving the game. The message didn't sound like ordinary frustration. It sounded like someone expressing that a clear limit had finally been reached.
And the reckless closeout that they actually review, and the foot still comes down on top of the defender's foot that wasn't upgraded? Absolutely disrespectful. We have a generational talent and a WNBA superstar who had 2 cheap shots right there that weren't called. And I just say again, absolutely unacceptable.
Phoenix's response only added more attention to the situation. From Indiana's perspective, the reaction from the team created another layer to an already controversial game, but questions still remained about whether the league would take any action regarding Thomas. At that point, there had been no announced review, suspension, or other disciplinary decision. The officials reportedly told White at halftime that they had not seen the disputed contact involving Clark while she was on the floor, and that explanation became a major point of frustration. Boston scored 23 points. Mitchell delivered 30. White stood at the microphone afterward and refused to soften her criticism. Meanwhile, the league had not publicly addressed the controversy in a meaningful way. The bigger question remained, what, if anything, should the league do next regarding Alyssa Thomas?